Here's a question Hollywood never expected to ask. What happens when the person playing the Flash causes more chaos than the actual villains in the movie? Ezra Miller, once one of the brightest rising stars in Hollywood, somehow turned their career into a real-life multiverse of bad decisions, viral scandals, and police reports longer than some movie scripts. It's the kind of story where every new headline makes you wonder if you accidentally subscribe to a parody news channel. Yet strangely, every twist is true. So buckle up, because this is the strange, chaotic roller coaster of how Ezra Miller went from indie darling to Hollywood's most unpredictable headline generator. The rise before the fall, indie genius to DC superhero. Before the scandals, Ezra Miller genuinely had one of the strongest acting careers of their generation. Their breakout came with We Need to Talk About Kevin, where they played a disturbingly believable troubled teen. Critics applauded, fans applauded, even Tilda Swinton applauded, which is basically like getting knighted in the acting world. Then came The Perks of Being a Wallflower, where Miller played Patrick, an unforgettable, witty, emotional character who won hearts everywhere. Back then, Ezra wasn't on police scanners. They were on Tumblr fan pages. Their unique style, gender-bending fashion, and interviews made them stand out in the best way. Hollywood loves different, and Ezra delivered it like no one else. Warner Brothers tapped that charm and cast them as The Flash. Suddenly, they were part of DC's biggest franchise. Red carpets, blockbuster movies, internet fandom, they had it all. If this were a normal career, this is where they'd soar. But then, the plot twisted harder than any DC timeline. Iceland 2020, the viral choke slam nobody expected. The first real crack in the facade came in April 2020, when a video leaked showing Miller grabbing a woman by the throat outside an Icelandic bar. The internet froze, ironic considering The Flash was involved. It wasn't a blurry, maybe kind of looks like them clip, it was crystal clear. Fans watched it on loop, squinting, whispering, "Is this improv? Performance art? A deleted Joker scene?" No charges were filed, but the moment was disastrous. Hollywood raised an eyebrow, the public raised both eyebrows, and the internet did what it does, turned it into memes, conspiracy theories, and debates. Unfortunately, it wasn't a one-time slip, it was the beginning of a long, chaotic storm. Hawaii 2022. Karaoke night gone nuclear. If there was a most active guest reward for Hawaii police reports, Ezra Miller might have won it in 2022. Their time in Hawaii became a saga of dramatic incidents, each stranger than the last. It started in a karaoke bar, where Miller reportedly yelled at singers, snatched a mic from a woman mid-song like they were Simon Cowell on steroids, and allegedly lunged at a man playing darts. Yes, darts. Who lunges at someone in the middle of darts? That's already a dangerous sport. It needs no extra chaos. Police arrested Miller for disorderly conduct and harassment. Fans thought, okay, one strange night, maybe they were having a weird vacation. But Hawaii said, hold my coconut water, because weeks later Miller was arrested again, this time for allegedly throwing a chair that struck a woman, leaving her with a cut. After 2 arrests, several complaints, police warnings, and a restraining order filed by a couple who claimed Miller burst into their bedroom, Hawaii's patience was officially gone. Locals joked The Flash had become the dash to jail. The Vermont farm saga. This isn't a movie, right? After turning paradise into a police hotspot, Miller's life shifted to Vermont, where reports surfaced that were concerning, to put it politely. Rolling Stone published details about a mother and her children staying at Miller's farm amid allegations of unsafe conditions, unsecured firearms, and marijuana smoke. Authorities conducted welfare checks. Friends expressed concern. The public wondered if Miller was starting a bad Netflix documentary by accident. it was no longer quirky actor behaving oddly. It was, what exactly is going on at that property? The Tokata Iron Eyes controversy. The most intense and serious moment came when the parents of activist Tokata Iron Eyes accused Miller of grooming, manipulation, and controlling behavior dating back years. A tribal court issued a temporary protection order. Tokata publicly denied being groomed, while her parents insisted she was not safe or in control of her social media. The media exploded. Commentators debated. Fans who once adored Miller struggled to comprehend this new chapter. While this case didn't result in criminal charges, the allegations alone were extremely damaging. At this point, the narrative had shifted from celebrity behaving out of control to disturbing and dangerous behavior. Even Hollywood, which usually tries to spin things, had no spin left. The burglary case. If you thought things were calming down, Vermont police stepped in with a new twist. In 2022, Miller was charged with felony burglary after allegedly entering a neighbor's home and taking bottles of alcohol. It was almost comedic in comparison to everything else. Out of all the wild allegations, it was the alcohol theft that resulted in an actual conviction. Miller initially pleaded not guilty, but eventually accepted a plea deal. They pleaded guilty to unlawful trespass, while the felony burglary charge was dropped. The court ordered probation, mental health treatment, and behavior conditions. Finally, after years of chaos, there was an official legal consequence. The Massachusetts case. A Massachusetts family filed a harassment prevention order after alleging Miller behaved inappropriately around their minor child. Miller's team denied everything. In the end, the temporary order expired with no renewal. No charges were filed. But again, the damage wasn't in the court, the damage was in public perception. By this point, Miller had a reputation so chaotic that even fictional villains were telling them to calm down. Warner Bros. Panic. Behind the scenes, Warner Brothers was sweating harder than Batman in summer. They had invested massive amounts into The Flash, a movie starring Miller in nearly every scene. But how do you promote a superhero film when the star is trending for police reports instead of movie posters? The studio tiptoed forward, minimized Miller's presence, and released the film anyway. It underperformed, overshadowed entirely by Miller's scandals. The movie that was supposed to revive DC became the cinematic face of Hollywood awkwardness. Ezra Miller finally speaks. In August 2022, Miller released a statement acknowledging they were facing a severe mental health crisis. They apologized to those they frightened or hurt and said they were receiving treatment. The statement felt calmer, more grounded, and human. It didn't erase the past, but it suggested someone finally trying to regain control. The 2025 soft comeback. After disappearing from public life, Miller began reappearing quietly in 2025 at film festivals like Cannes and filming Italy, Sardinia. They looked different, quieter, more low profile, almost unrecognizable from their eccentric past. They spoke about reflection, healing, writing, and understanding the harm caused. Instead of big blockbusters, they focused on smaller projects and rebuilding slowly. The world didn't fully forgive, but some people hesitantly opened the door a crack. Where does Ezra Miller stand now? Today, Miller stands at a crossroads. The legal issues are largely resolved, but the public image remains fractured. They have acknowledged a mental health crisis, entered treatment, and stepped back from the spotlight. Whether Hollywood embraces them again will depend on one thing: consistency. The craziest irony? The Flash, a hero known for fixing timelines, now faces a future where there are no multiverses, no reshoots, and no alternate endings. Only accountability, healing, and time will decide the final chapter of Ezra Miller's story. And that, my friends, is the wild, unbelievable, absolutely real journey of Ezra Miller. A story that proves even superheroes can't outrun their own chaos. If you enjoyed this deep dive and want more insane true celebrity stories, wild Hollywood scandals, and jaw-dropping breakdowns just like this one, make sure you hit that like and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Because trust me, the next story we're covering is even crazier. Thanks for watching, stay safe, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next one.